And there, on top of one of these poor machines, is some dear soul's clothes, just angrily, you can feel it, angrily piled up. The anger is now, wafting out of the poor person's clean clothes. And I'm thinking, it's got to be some young kid who's impatient, who just came and did this. Now, look at that label and look at that judgment. So it made me smile. This is where I went with it. I'm like, boy, does this show how old I am. I'm labeling some poor kid as doing this dastardly deed. Because you know what? You go up and you anticipate your clothes are nice. You can happily take them out of the washer, put them in the dryer. Yeah, no. So I take my clothes and I put them in the dryer and I come back to check on them. Now, there's a gal, I would tell you, an old gal, maybe late 70s, maybe 80s. And she's now wheeled a chair from her room down to have a machine gun in attending to the washer. And she's got her Kindle. She is in the ready to go to war, the war of the washers, I call this. She is ready to go to war. And I'm like, geez, what's happened here? And she goes, I gave that person 15 minutes and nobody showed up. And so I had to get their clothes out, and I'm just staying here, and I'm going to guard my washer. Okay, okie dokie. But that's the mentality. First of all, I apologize to everybody in younger than I that I dare labeled that you had been impatient. This is some old biddy impatient and angry as heck. So life happens, but please, all of these things where we've become so impatient, so intolerant, come on, gang, come on. So now, I do have a lovely guest with me. I have a guest who's actually, she has the wonderful good fortune of being both in New Jersey and in Arizona. And my guest is an art therapist. And therefore, my guest is a color healer. My guest is Linda Kramer. And Linda, as long as I've known her, and it's about probably 20 years, would you say? It's about that. Linda has studied art this past weekend. Mm-hmm. She took a 4-day art therapy class. Yes, it's therapy for herself, but then she shares it. She lives it. You know, last week I had an angel lady present. This week I have a color healer present, and Linda's presence echoes the gal from last week. Perfectly balanced, in harmony, at peace within herself. Now look, I've known both of these gals a long time. They've known me a long time. We can laugh at each other when we seemingly fall out of balance, have had a bad day, bad hair day, bad head day, bad whatever we're having. But the three of us could easily say, for the most part, we are holding the balance. And that is a great gift. So my Linda has done works with something called, in Arizona, she's done a lot of this. She works with something called Free Arts for Abused Children. And I actually had the very good fortune of visiting Linda at a cycle where this was quite strong in her life. And I watched the dedication, the love, the concern for these children. And the kids that she has dealt with are from the ages of 2 to 18 when they have to, I guess what, Linda, move away from?
They're aged out. They have to leave facilities. They're no longer supported by government or money. They don't know how to balance a checkbook. They don't know how to, nobody's taught them the skills of life. They have not experienced it. And it's you worry about those guys.
Mm-hmm. And everybody needs to hear your beautiful voice. Okay?
Okay.
That's how delicate my Linda is. Mm-hmm. Linda, when they leave this place, they still haven't been taught?
No. I remember one young man, He's a lovely young guy. He was 16. He definitely had some mental issues. I believe it was because of horrible, horrible abuses he's had in his life, physical and emotional. And he was a very good artist, and he wanted to be an artist when he graduated high school. And so I kind of talked to him a little bit about, well, what are you going to do afterwards? How do you support yourself? How do you get an education? Because, you know, a lot of times you can get a job that can support you while you go to community college. And just always keep building on that. He said, well, I'm going to be very rich. I said, but you still need an education so that you can protect your money. Why? Nobody will take money from me. Well, if you can't watch your money, then someone can take your money. And so you need to know how to count and watch your own things.
And a facility like that doesn't help them get those tools?
No, not at all. Not at all. They are just shuffled through a system. It's very sad. They're lucky because they have a roof over their head and food in their mouth, which is not healthy. I've seen this food. It is not good food, but they're not starving on the street or having to steal to put food in their stomach.
You know, we got to question our food system here. I don't want to go against the big guys. I'm too little for that, but I have to question, how are we supposed to get well without healthy food? It's incongruous. It can't happen.
You can't. You need fresh food, live food, fruits, vegetables.
Yep. I don't know what's happened that this is, unless, you know, there is, I don't know this for sure, but it's a strong possibility that the overseers of our society simply want to reduce the population. I can't come up with anything else, because this either reduce the population or some which way feed it in a corrupt way because everyone's getting sick.
Yeah, and you can't see straight. You can't feel good. You can't think on your own.
No, so you become a pawn in a sick society. It's astounding to watch it. Can you share some of, you know, I know you worked with the little ones. I mean, even think of this, you folks that are listening. At 2 years old, there would be children that are so beaten and so abused that they have to go to a place like this. I mean, what has happened to us? It's like we've become animalistic.
And part of it is that they don't have support systems. So the first thing that they want to do is put the child back with family members. So if there is a family member to gather up and take care of this child, that's what they will do. But we're all little nucleuses out there. There's no family to take care of them. Otherwise, they would be with family.
Wow. And I see so often, not only are the families fractured and separate, so there's no family, but then those that are, they're not well. It's a troublesome time we're in because of this fragmentation, because of no sense of family. And then I watch the families quarrel, you know, within my own family. There's a person that wants nothing to do with me, and what is that about? You know, the discord, the disharmony. Yikes.
People can't accept each other for what they are and where they are.
Yes, yeah. So I want to ask you a little bit. You went on a 4-day lovely adventure. First of all, was this in New York State?
It was in New York State, 2 hours north of New York City.
Okay.
And it was at a wonderful inn built in 1889, and it is in the mountains. Beautiful
Is it
little
a bed
town.
and breakfast?
It's like a bed and breakfast, yes.
Well, let's give them a little plug because it sounds so lovely.
It's the Greenville Arms in Greenville, New York, near Cairo.
Okay.
Interestingly. And it's a bed and breakfast as well as an art community. They do 3- and 5-day workshops, and you're just totally immersed in art. The studio is open 24 hours a day. You can go out in the middle of the night if you're not able to sleep and create. Everybody eats together. The husband is the chef. The food is healthy. They've got all the herbs out in the garden. It was heavenly, and it was a wonderful bubble. There was no TV. There was internet, but it was limited, so you could not look if you didn't want to, and there was no newspapers, so it's just it was camp. It was a heavenly camp.
Wow, wow. And what did you come away with?
Besides the art that I came away with, watching actually people heal while they were there. They were people that came very wounded from death, from divorces. One woman had been in and out of a mental hospital 3 times this past year from her broken heart, let's say. And their postures changed. They sat up straighter. They were enthusiastic. By the 3rd day, they were just enthusiastic. The art, the color, everything was healing them, and it was just happening right there in front of your eyes. You could see it.
You know, it reminds me almost of like the horse whisperer. It's like the art whisperer.
Yes. Yeah, it is. And you're eating healthy. I mean, a lot of people there, I'm going to assume, do not normally eat healthy. And so there was no, we had cookie time every afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And they were gracious enough to get gluten-free, dairy-free cookies for me and someone else who was on a limited diet. So they, whatever it was, whether you were a vegetarian, they could do it. No iodine, they could do it. They took care of everyone, but everybody ate healthy. And I think that's part of why everybody was able to heal and look and feel better.
I so agree. It's what's going into our mouth.
Yeah.
Would you speak the name of that place again, just in case somebody thinks I have to go and be healed?
It's the Greenville Arms Inn, and it's in Greenville, New York.
Okay. I hope that helps somebody. You never know. Last week a couple of people contacted me about how good they felt with the information that artists shared.
Yes.
So you just don't know why you're here and what you've got to share. So makes me happy, happy, happy. I know over these years, you as I, we kind of come through peaks and valleys with what we're doing, and you almost have to go on a little sabbatical. But it would not surprise me if some of the little sabbatical, the period that you've had to go through, is coming to completion.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I just have that sense. So it's interesting, and most likely after your birthing cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to explain that to people. The 52-day window prior to your birthday, every single year, whether you know it or not, like it or not, it's what, in some disciplines is called a transition cycle or a dying cycle. Every cell of your body is regenerating. It's kind of being recalibrated. Your clothing doesn't work. Your haircut's wrong. Your life is wrong. And so it's interesting to see, and you're going to be on the cusp of that very soon, mm-hmm. that you'll go into that cycle. After you have a dying cycle, obviously you have a birthing cycle, although a lot of people actually do check out right around either their dying cycle or right into the new birthing cycle, but that's another story. So I do suspect that as your birthing cycle comes, you're going to have a sense of expansion. I think that's what's going to come. And I think the expansion will be through, it's almost like an explosion of color. So I don't know. You may have to, do you use the medium of acrylics? Is that your medium?
No, it's glass beads, mostly, and fabric.
Okay, maybe you're going to explode a little bigger.
Maybe, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's tiny what I'm doing now. So.
Yeah, it's very tiny. There's a sense of explosion, Linda.
I like that.
Okay. So it could be acrylics. It could be something bigger, because I can actually see some canvases now around you.
That's wonderful. I've been kind of gearing up for that, so yeah.
Okay.
I can go back to my inn and take a painting class now.
Yes, you can. Could we finish the interview first before you run? Gotta go, and I'll tell them I don't want that and that for dinner. So that's a happy, happy thought. All right, then. Huh. All right, let me see what else is cooking, because Linda was clever enough to actually bring her 4 pillars and her astrology charts. So I am actually even seeing stuff here, which makes it makes it so easy, to see a picture of you, like your infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, very much expansion. Linda is Con North, okay? And Con North, the Con is in the center of the Bagua, which shakes up everything. So that's nice. We like that. We like to be shaken up. And I believe